Okay, I think we're on a roll. Just do a couple of quick clean-up. Well, we shouldn't say clean-up, but more shoving a bunch of items to one side of the workbench. And I just realised I've got plaster dust all over my bench top, so I better wash that down a little bit before I commence. Hey Keith, John, Jürgen, hey Jason. Hey Jason, have you sent anything in the mail the last few days? I just can't remember if you had or whether you were just planning to. I've just been having a devil of a time with couriers and deliveries that I thought I'd best check to see what is happening on your end. I finally managed to track down the offender of why my parcels have not been turning up on time. That said, in spite of tracking down the offending party, I don't know if it's going to make a damn bit of difference. But it's worth a shot. Okay, you haven't yet, so that's all good. That's all good. There's no rush on my behalf, Jason. I'm not worried at all. I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't failing to keep tabs on what is pending. So, all good. There are plenty of things to keep me occupied at the moment. Jim, Pierre, Travis, you've been wrapped up in jobs. Well, that actually sounds like you're doing what you should be doing, Jason, and I think you should continue to do that. Okay, so, yeah, I shouldn't say we. Who's we? Me. Me, myself, and I. Me, myself, and I spent a bit of money and bought some more overhead lights. These are 42 watt high CRI. Theoretically, they're 98 CRI, which is a load of BS. They're probably more like 92 to 93. And the 42 watts is probably closer to, 35. Either way, they seem to be good. They've got a pretty, they're 4,000 Kelvin temperature, so I'm pretty happy with them overall. Anyway, the diffusion is really nice too. Yeah. Right, let's find something to fix. Find one that doesn't have personal information splattered all over it. Yeah, yeah, passwords aren't a good thing to have splattered all over. Just get a screw container. Hey Josh. So the panels cost me $150 a piece. And I've got them working in conjunction with the existing panels that I had. So they add a little bit of warmth, but we'll see how they go. They're certainly not the cold blue or anything like that a lot of people have. 1439, that's definitely not the job of question. Try again. Come on, scan. Alright, scanners. Oh, okay. Failed to open barcode scanner. Oh, that's great. Gonna be one of these days, is it? The panels are 600 by 600. Oh, that's more like it. 1708, not taking charge or turning on. Alrighty. Did I fix the stuffed mouse? No, I have not. So we've had that mouse for almost a decade now. I have repaired it a great number of times. I'm just worried. The problem we're facing now is that the actual outer cloth that it's made of has become threadbare. So even as I try to redo the seams, unfortunately the cloth itself, because it's threadbare, it just keeps breaking now. Hello Madhawa, 333. I guess we'll see what's going on. we'll get it disassembled first. Certainly, I can see more clearly, even without my glasses. Need to take it apart and install Hessian backing. Then it'll just become a Hessian mouse eventually. What I would like to do is commission someone to make a direct replica of it. Because who knows if that's even going to work. Micro might just look at it and go, no, that's not the real mouse. And there'll be a few $100s down the drain. Yeah, Piper, that's more along the plans of what I'm kind of thinking we're going to have to do, so that we get the progressive migration away from the decaying old one to the new one. I may have to pick up my haberdashery skills a bit more. Hey, Teresa. Funnily enough, he isn't really a large fan of the catnip. It doesn't seem to really drive him mad or anything like that. I mean, yeah, you can tell it does cause some sort of response, but nothing like what you see on YouTube. The only downside with this extra lighting is it's certainly putting a little more heat into the room, and even though we are technically still in winter, I can definitely feel it. Kind of reminds me of the evil days where we would have 100-watt spotlights, incandescent ones, pointing down at you. Yeah, it was no fun at all. The angling of the lights isn't quite how I want. I'm casting a little bit of a shadow because they're slightly, probably about a third of them is behind my head. Unfortunately, I just don't have anywhere to mount them at the moment that is better. Mostly because the, the battens in the ceiling haven't given me a lot of options. What type of catnip is it? I have no idea. I just know that when we have tried various catnip type things, it's really been a bit of a non-event. Okay. Take that off. Okay. There's a bit of a discoloration here. My first bet would be maybe a PP bus short. If not, we'll go from there. And we might, I know we've missed the last couple of days, but we might. Let's see. Why are you not auto switching? Okay, please stand by. Clearly, all of my planned software is not working today. Okay, come on, switch. Okay, no PP bus short. That's a bit of a disappointment. It's always nice when you get a PP bus short. So the next thing is, because they're talking about the battery charging, we can have a look at the ISL area. I've just realised this might even just simply be a case of a bad battery flex, which is all too common on this model. 2.5 is normal. Yep, that's normal. Hello, Miles. Like I said, it wouldn't be the first time it's been a battery flex for me. I mean, there is enough grit and bits and pieces around on this board that it could well be something else. But the 1708 battery does have a problem of eating its flexes for some reason. A little bit of corrosion over there, but nothing worth really looking at. Okay, we've got a problem here. One of the protection diodes has got junk all over it. So that could be our fault, because that would mess with the signaling, which means it won't get to 20 volts, which means it probably won't charge. Although it should on the other port, so I'm not quite sure about that, but we'll see. I just want to check other areas first. It's been 840, so it's got the PI3 chip. Alright, I'm going to guess it's that protection diode. I am going to remove the drive first. The downside is it means I have to... Anyone know how to rebond this kind of tape? Other than using more tape. Jim, sorry to hear about your pain and niggles there. I did ask earlier, but I didn't see an answer, probably because I wasn't watching. But have you received a first payment, Jim, for your bird videos yet? Or is that not until this month? I have a feeling it might not be till this month. I was hoping my circuit boards would arrive today for the USB-C meter. Unfortunately, they did not. Starting to get a bit frustrated with this oversized contraption. So we've got 5. So we do get 20, and we're getting a full boot sequence there. Okay, that's fine. What about this one? Same thing, not affected. Try the other sides. Yep, all good. Everything works. Oh, so normal. Okay, Jim, so your payment went in. That's fantastic. Glad to hear you must have just got in on the timing, because I know the first time that I was waiting on a payment, it was an agonizing period of about 2.5 months before I got mine. And it was the time I was trying to get this microscope here. Well, that corroded diode definitely has to come off. It could be a case of the postal percussion maintenance process worked, but we're going to have to make sure it's a little more permanent than that. Hey creature, don't blame me. Andre, that's my USB-C meter. Ah, shoot. Looks like I bent my tweezers. Oh well. A little bit too much flux. Yeah, Andre, there's a lot of different, there's, I think, what is there, 3, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, there's 4 different boards sandwiched together on that thing to make it work. To be fair, only 3 of them are actually required to get the data to the PC. The 4th one was just me experimenting to see if I can get an LCD display. And I can, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother with it. Miles, you got to let them lose the package for a few days, but then again, yours probably already do that as well. Okay, no, I'm going to need the bigger tip for that. Hey, Didumrose. You find someone for your project? Helps if we turn it on. Come on, hurry up. These tips take forever to heat up. Bit of corrosion on those pads, so I'm going to have to scratch that up a bit. Most of my packages are coming through Australia Post or Star Trek. That's the bulk of them. I could technically leave this diode off since it is just there for protection. It shouldn't influence normal operation, but that's not a risk you should take with someone else's gear. Good luck with it, Didumrose. I'm really sorry that I couldn't sort of jump in with you. Like I said, it is the kind of thing I would normally do, but I'm trying to be a mature and responsible business person here. Which I suppose is a bit of a joke, really. I figured better to let you down now rather than not make it too painful than later and make it an absolute agonizing process. Oh, for flip's sake, that's one of Jason's boards. Look at it, this is Unmac parts. Yeah. Good one, Jason. Put the corrosion right on the part I wanted. To be fair, these are all pretty much copies of each other, but I'm not going to use that one. I'm not going to turn around and desert him. No. Well, Jason, that AI did a very good job, didn't it? As I'm almost certain that the real problem on this is probably going to be that battery flex or the battery itself. Yep, that is a micro alarm. We'll attend to that very shortly. I know you don't really get a good perspective just through the overhead camera, but how do people feel that the lighting is in this video compared to previous ones? I feel like it's better. I kind of noticed that the frame rate, not the frame rate, the shutter speed seems to have actually gone up. It's given that more pronounced 60 FPS type effect. Hey there, Patrick. Good evening to you. Hello, Sonia. Yes, Micro quite likes his little mouse. Okay, we don't need that one. That one's just speaker. We do need this one here. This is our keyboard. This top one. Yeah, it's getting all jammy on me, man. That's better. Andre, the sort of smooth transition style effect. It does take a bit of getting used to. Yeah, there is a certain unnerving fluidity to 60 frames per second or 50 frames per second. It's a bit like when we transitioned from AM radios to FM, and the radio felt very, you could tell it was clear, but it felt oddly sterile and lifeless for some reason. Hey there, Jim Allen. I haven't forgotten Micro. That's kind of weird. Is that something obstructing in there? Yeah. Hold down the Option key. Oh, that's weird. Going out of focus now, eh? Hey, Prolux, I do agree as well with regards to that sentiment, needing more light. More light, better glasses. Maybe that's the problem. As we get older, we need glasses that are perhaps got a thicker element to them, which means we lose more light through those elements. So we need more light to compensate. I mean, overall, when I'm looking up at the screen, it does feel like the quality has stepped up. I feel like the camera itself is able to do a better job. So these are my glasses. So it's not a severe magnification I've got or anything, but okay, that just looks worse because it's from the distance. Oh geez, Miles. That's unfortunate. I think I got my first pair when I was about 13. I probably didn't have to get them that early, but I knew I was going to be programming a lot, so I kind of pushed. Just noticed the screen's completely crinkled up at the bottom there on that faceplate. Would help if you clean them. Ha! No, that's protective barrier, Warren. Okay, I've noticed we're not seeing the battery. Yeah, that makes sense too because I didn't screw that in. Again, I haven't forgotten micro. Thank you, Patrick, for the 3. No, I haven't forgotten micro. I have about a half-hour window either way that I can safely administer the shot. Right. Now the battery might show up. Hey, Godfrey Allen, Booted Tech. Just want to see if this battery comes up. The biggest problem I'm encountering with glass at the moment is the fact that I need at least 2 pairs now. There's the pairs that I use for working on these machines where you're only about anything between 30 to 40 centimeters away from it. And then there's what you need to be working on when you're doing like emailing and administration work, which is more like 60 centimeters. Jason, you have 9 pairs. That's, yeah, you just gotta be the gold medal winner, don't you? Gotta be the gold. Okay, I see we've got a battery icon now. I mean, overall, there's probably 5 or 6 pairs floating around the house, but I mean, in terms of actual one, like I have to have a close-up pair, and then I've got to have a emailing pair and things like that. As opposed, yeah, in terms of actual numbers of glasses, who knows? What do you recommend for cameras, downward view, and other views? Well, this one here that you're looking through right now, that was the one that Jim Hook sent me. It's a, what is it? Panasonic, was it? I always forget. Panasonic HVC1 or something like that. Okay, why have I lost my data stream? Oh, shoink. That was not meant to happen. I love it when you use force quit and nothing happens. Yep. Force quit. So useful. Nothing happening. Oh well, I'll go do micro, come back, and hopefully, well, you guys can watch it. You can watch the percentage count. I'm just trying to find the exact name and number here. Damn it. But pretty much any, yeah, it's a Panasonic. Oh man, I can't remember what it exactly was. I can't read it off here. It's probably on the display panel. It's a 4K 60 frames per second camera. You want to get something like that, and then when you're recording 1080, you get a pretty good image. Oh, there we go. I just saw that flick up then. Ah, finally, the software works. So you can see it is charging, but we'll be back. Let's see, we're still at 0% in spite of the fact that the 2.8 amps going in there. Hello, Abu. Hey, Pedro. Yeah, it was micro time. I was just sorting him out. Boy. I guess what I can do is just wait. I only need 1% to tick up, but it can't be too far away, like maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the most. So, Pedro, how'd your scamming go today? Any good scams you want to tell us about? Pedro is the master of scamming people out of their MacBooks. Ah, there we go. There's our 1%. All right. So we know that's functional now. I'm just going to go back over the job log to see that I did read it correctly. 1451, not taking charge. Yeah, taking charge. Clearly this laptop is not called Charles. Not taking charge or turning on. Well, it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Hey, Kenny Wooden. Let's go back to wide. Should do. Did you fix the Acer display frame? I did glue it back together and I showed it to the customer. And I said, look, just have a think about it. I said, it is purely aesthetic. It is not it doesn't have a functional impact on it. If you still want me to go ahead with the replacement, I can do that. But I don't see it being really overly required. Oh yeah, Creature, I know a lot of them. I just cannot watch a great majority of the so-called rescue videos that you see on YouTube. And also the ones that they list themselves as like, look at what the funny video of the cat. And it's people scaring the living daylights out of their cats for no real purpose. And it's like, I just can't laugh at that because there's nothing funny about that for me. Okay, I'm just... So yeah, a great majority of stuff on the internet I usually try to avoid. Creature, I cast thee out. Be gone, foul creature. Jason, I'd just simply prefer if those people lost their personal areas. That would be a more fitting punishment, in my opinion. It's not like we've got a shortage of humans on this planet, so maybe we should start acting, punishing in certain ways that helps that. I'm doing my bit. I'm not replicating. Are you doing your bit? Humans suck. They certainly do. Okay. Let's see if I can clean up that area just a smidge. So you got to be careful when cleaning up these boards because the alcohol that you use can end up spreading junk everywhere. Taking a whole lot of crap, putting it into solution and just shifting it into places you actually don't want that going. So yeah, you got to be careful. Just going to warm it up a bit. Obviously the new LED lights are not going to be affecting the microscope much, but I do have a new microscope LED project that I'm working on, because one thing I've noticed with most of the microscope lights that we have is that they protrude, well, they're usually made for like a 58 to 60 millimeter diameter hole, but most of our microscopes are a 48 millimeter diameter assembly to hold on to, for the Barlow and things like that. So right off the bat, we're wasting 10 millimeters of diameter, and then most of these LED assemblies are using encapsulated pin-through type LEDs, so that they can then bend the legs and angle them towards the supposed focus of the microscope. But because of that, you end up with another 15, 20 millimeters of diameter, radius actually added. And before you know it, you can't get your hot air handle in very close to your workpiece without angling it quite severely. So anyway, my project is to create a very slim but powerful LED light source for the microscope, and it'll allow you to get in much closer so you can have a more upright position. We'll see how it goes. It could end up being completely useless. It could have like insufficient power, all that sort of stuff. There we go. Well, that's a pretty reasonable cleanup job, I think. Optical fiber is very nice, also very expensive. I would certainly take that option, but I guess I'm sort of trying to find something that's approachable to mortal repair humans, as opposed to immortal New York gods. So to give you an idea, I'll just take this off. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to switch the frames around so you can see. Let's see, overhead. All right. So I'll just give you the example. I'm just going to take my Barlow off so you've got an idea. Okay, so this is my Barlow lens. I'm actually going to put it up this way. And this is the LED source. So as you can see, there's a massive discrepancy in diameter there. So the very first thing I'm going to do is bring the diameter of the LED system down to what the Barlow is, which is, like I said, about 50 millimeters, let's call it. And then the next issue is that, turn this off. There we go. Yeah, you got this, in this case, three rows of these 3 millimeter LEDs, and they're all bent inwards to try and produce a focus point of the light around about there. But I figure with SMD chip LEDs, I can get away with effectively one row, and yeah, so it'll be a much narrower system, which means when you have the hot air, which I'm going to inhibit. Come on, turn off. Yeah, so instead of it really needs to be done this way. Instead of being restricted like that, really ends up being more like that. You'll be able to come in at a much steeper angle, which will provide better hot air rework. Anyway, that's the green theory. It may work, it may not. All I know is I'm going to give it a shot. And I also noticed that my Barlow is truly filthy. Oh, crap. Just getting my lens cloth. By the way, even if you don't use or want a Barlow reduction or magnification on your microscope, it is important to still put, at the very least, just a protective lens filter, what they call a 1 a 1x Barlow. Just put something on there so that your primary objectives inside the microscope never get hit by whatever's happening outside. It only takes a bit of flux smoke or something like that. It'll get attached to the primary elements, and they're a lot harder to clean properly than just replacing a filter. Be careful the heat you produce so close to the lens housing. Well, we'll see how we go. Like I said, I'll offset it slightly, but we'll see. We'll see. Those are the things to experiment and find out. So I know we used to always buy the do nothing filters for the SLR cameras because the lens bodies on those things were absurdly expensive. We're talking like in the 1980s and stuff. Are your lenses plastic? No, these ones are glass. Oh wait, you talking personal glasses, or you talking Barlows on the microscope? Because mine are glass. I think I've had this microscope now for a bit over 5 years. Don't have Nikon glass, unfortunately, or Carl Zeiss glass. That would be very nice. Actually, to be fair, probably a bit of a overkill / waste. I mean, the lenses in that microscope are not even going to be Sigma brand quality. For people who do camera work, they'll know what I mean by that. Yeah, Sigmas are perfectly good, get your foot in the door sort of thing for lenses. But you can certainly tell that there are certain quality compromises in the glass elements. As to be expected, you know, you can't expect to get diamonds for free. Still have your Nikon FM2. Okay, I had the Nikon FM. That was naughty of me doing that. See you, Warren. Realistically, I probably won't be doing any upgrades with the microscope. I think it's amply good for the task at hand. Oops, that's definitely not the one I want to put on straight away. Yeah, I think the Amscope type ones, they're amply good for the task at hand. Throwing more and more money at them. About the only thing you'd probably want to improve is the ability to change the angle of the viewing port, so you know you can find a more comfortable position. But aside from that, it's not like you're trying to chase down fancy bacteria or anything like that. Yours has a loose bearing on it, so the head keeps slanting. Need to get that. Which bearing have you lost on that? I know the twin boom arms, they're a bit of a pain because they stick, because the bearings are tougher than the actual shafts. So they just cut themselves a keyway the whole way along. But after you do that a few hundred times, it's sort of, you go, oh well. But I should get even just a mild stainless steel would be a much improved feel on the movement. But in 5 years I still haven't done that, so it can't be that bad. Oh, there goes the gecko. Yeah, I'm definitely going to say that it was the postal percussive maintenance that made this work when it arrived here. I don't know what the deal is there, Miles. Have you got the same twin boom assembly, or have you got that single boom assembly? Still, the head assembly is usually the same between the both of them. Ach nee man, come on. Yeah. Ever drop a screw and it bounces under the edge of the board and you just go, oh yeah, actually I had that yesterday. I was reassembling a board and the screw sort of just popped out and then skittled under the edge here. Couldn't quite get to it and it wouldn't come out. It was jammed in there and I had to take the whole board out. It sounds like we've got a dickhead in the background. For once I'm not talking about YouTube. Jeez, I hate noises like that. Like, what was that? In most cases, it's a grain of sand just pushing against the metal, but every now and then it kind of sounds like glass breaking. I guess it sort of, kind of, maybe, slightly, technically is. But bugger. Sorry. I was wondering why that one was reluctant to sit in. I forgot that these machines use 3 different sizes of screws. So this one here would have been a bit short on its pull. There we go. Oh, bee blood. Oh, yeah, that's terrible when that happens. It seems to always happen to me when I'm eating lettuce, because usually there's a tiny little speck of grit in the lettuce, and I always find it. My wife is deathly scared of feeding me lettuce. in salads and things like that, because I always seem to find the grit. And speaking of glass though, that did start to crumble away, but that was already crumbling away. So it wasn't the noise we heard, because the noise I heard was down here. But yeah, that glass bezel front, basically nothing much you can do about those. It's come up saying it needs battery. Well, that would be correct. Pro engineer, yes, but you got to learn to grow your own lettuce. That said, we don't do that much. We should, but we do not. Let's see. Okay, you can see the current picking up. I do like that graph that it does. Gives you a good idea of what the computer's doing. Miles, you actually find unpitted olives. That's talent. Yeah. I think if you grow things like, let's say, iceberg lettuce, well, they're not the tastiest lettuce as such. I think the upside of the iceberg is because it is very much a sealed unit, kind of like a cabbage, you have a much better chance of not getting grit in there. Whereas these gourmet open leaf type things, they're just havens for grit. Yeah, you turned on yet? There we go. You can see the step up in the current. Yep. And we have 3%. Obviously I can't show you the screen, but But yeah, when you get grit in the salad and you bite down on it, it just, for a moment you feel like your world has ended, because you're just imagining that one of your molar teeth is shattered into multiple pieces, and you're going to have to go down to the dentist, and then first you're going to spend the whole night in absolute agony because you've got an exposed nerve running around in there. And believe me, I know what that's like. And then you'll finally get a dental appointment, and then they'll say, oh, we can't really save it, we'll have to take it out. And that in itself becomes a protracted operation because it's all shattered, so they can't actually extract it using the normal methods. Instead, it has to be a piece-by-piece surgical removal. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, good reason not to eat salad. Yeah. No, Jason, it's just that it was very flat. It's coming up 5% now. It's doing proper charging now. It's all good. But yeah, that piece of glass is a bit of a nuisance that it fell out. Unfortunately, I think, I don't know what happens. It always seems to, I think what it is people pick up the laptop by the hinge area, like in this section here. And because there's no direct support between the display and the chassis, it flexes, and that causes that sort of damage. Either that, or they leave pencils in there when they slam it down. But we'll consider that one fixed. Gets a green stroke for being fixed. Now I better make sure I update the details. 1451. And that was a 820 840 board. And I better note down what actual part it was that we swapped. There's this chap up here, D3409. So what were you on? You're on Con CC1. Yeah, okay. If Con CC1 was taken out, then there is no way it would have negotiated a charge rate or voltage. So that is why they would have had a problem there. CC1 and CC2, you really need those in order to get anything to happen on USB-C. So D3409. D3409, corroded, CC1 line. They would say the screen broke itself. Yeah. Impressive that they got the logo embedded on it though. Alright, you can go down there and charge for a little bit. I need to baggy this one up. This obviously was not an unofficial Mac job. This just happened to be, I haven't erased the top off that case. Okay, there's a diode in there somewhere. There's a diode in there somewhere, I think. We'll move the glass across first, we'll move the sticker in as well, and we'll try to find that diode. To be fair, it's not actually strictly a diode per se, it's more of a TVS or a bidirectional protection device. There we go, there it is. It's, yeah, sort of like two Zener diodes back to back. Which doesn't mean it's actually a diode any more than the fact that a transistor is kind of made of two diodes. You don't call it a bidiode device. Okay, that one's done. Time for the next job. Oh damn it, this is... Alright, I'm going to have to do this one off screen. A bit of work on this one before I can present it on screen. So please stand by. Time for a 15. Funnily enough, Miles, I do have a 1534 in here. But that one's not going to be shown. 1534 jobs are essentially a case of I take them, they get heated up and checked, and if they work, that's great. If they don't work, well, there's nothing much I can do anyway. Okay. No power, 5 volts, 13 inch. Okay, this hopefully, fingers crossed, will be a CD3215 cap short failure on a 239 board. 2017 though. It might be an 850 board. I can never remember which one's which, as in which year is which board. Needless to say, it often when you get in the 5 volts, it does turn out to be a CD3215 cap issue. But let's not jinx ourselves, although I've already done that. And fingers crossed we actually have a win here. Oh, sometimes those clips don't let go. Come on, you can do it. Come on, don't be shy. Ow. Okay. Okay, so this will be a 239 board because it's got the, what do you call it, the lifeboat connector on it. The 850 does not. I'm not even going to bother plugging it in to see what the USB-C does at this point. We basically, what we're looking for is probably going to be under here, maybe under here. So we'll just get straight into it. And it seems like, for some people, this could be a bit of a drudgery. It's like, well, it seems like every time you are fixing one of these, Paul, it ends up being something like that, you know, doesn't that get boring? And it's like, yeah, it sort of can do, but you really do rely on these type of jobs as your bread and butter. Otherwise, you're going to end up with nothing but like the A1708 that we've been working on a couple of times. That gives us the 20 volts, 20 milliamps, but nothing else. You know, they are the last kind of job you want in your workshop, as a general rule. If you get more than a couple of those, you pretty much need to go out there and try and find a better supply of jobs, because they will suck the profitability right out of your business. Like I said, it's fun if you're, it's fun if you're learning things and you've got the time and money really to dig around and really dive into it, discover some new things. That's great, and it's something I wish I could actually I can just see liquid there. It's something I wish I could do more of. But for the moment, the run of relatively signature type jobs is, however, more in my favour. It's nice to be able to just sort of knock these jobs out, get them back to the owners or the businesses that have sent them. Everybody's happy. Everybody makes money. And the customer's happy too, of course, because they get their data back. Spending the time to learn these things in depth, to be what you may consider to be, say, a smart person or a well-read person for this sort of work, that is not really a luxury that a lot of people have when you're working in the industry. Most of the time you'll find people who do have that sort of thing, they either started when it was still very well flooded with signature jobs, or they've got someone else paying their way. Someone else supporting their food, their electricity, or that sort of thing. Certain things have to be sacrificed in order for you to be able to keep the lights on. Hey, crocodile. Well, at least somebody came in with an interesting question like that. Yes, CRI is a measure of how close to, say, daylight, sunlight, or color spectrum thing the light is. So you'll probably find most of the LED lights that you get, they don't have any particular, they're not expensive or anything, they're just cheap random ones. They generally have a fairly low CRI index. So when you look at a full color test board, you'll find a lot of the colors don't really come up very well. Why? Every time. That ticks me off something major. yeah, it's a measure of the fullness of the spectrum. It's not the perfect measure. Yeah, there's always going to be other ways of expressing how good things are in terms of the spectrum that the lights emit. But it's a pretty good, easy to understand one straight off the bat. So yeah, these were sold as 98s, which is very unlikely. But I'm willing to concede they're probably, somewhere between 92 and 96. They're up around that mark, I'd say. Because it does feel a lot like I am in something close to daylight without having to crank up the temperature of the light. This is a 4000 Kelvin light setup. Whereas what a lot of people do is they go for, say, like a 5.5 or 6000 Kelvin, and it's bluish bright, but it isn't really bright. It's bizarre. And so you end up squinting in a room, but you really can't see anything because it's quite dark. Alrighty, I'm not really seeing any... Yeah, I'm definitely not seeing any corrosion indications on this. That's bad. The curse of the clean board. So we did have corrosion splattering in on the board through that fan. What if it's just a bad... surely it's not a bad USB-C port. Because yeah, like I said, you can see it's coming here. Well, I don't know if you can, but I can see that there's liquid damage there. I'm just going to take this USB-C port out and see what it says. They look kind of gnawed. No, they're okay. I thought maybe that one of the ports were severely corroded and that was inhibiting the system, but nope, that's not the case. Alright, let's get back to the board then. We'll do the visual test first, of course, before we start applying power. No point in applying power to a board that might be on its last moment until you've confirmed that it's good to go, or at least reasonably good. Hey, branches. Just going to check the usual suspects first. Yeah, nothing there, nothing there. So usually we get this one here, just under that little semicircular tab. That's usually the culprit. But it's not the case tonight, or at least it isn't visually. And if the SSD isn't working, then that's the culprit, which is the piccolo. But that does not seem to be the case, nor is it the symptom, in fact. So now we actually have to do some work. It's this. It's the ISL. There's a teeny tiny spot of corrosion under the ISL, and I just saw it. I'll show you. You'll see it. There. I don't know if it's showing up or not, but anyway, there's corrosion under there. Oh, and it's a 923 board, not a 239. I'm just going to check the rest of the board a bit. But, oh, well, there's that there too. Certainly the ISL has to be changed because it definitely does have that speck of crap under it. But let's have a look at what those two resistors do. Okay, so we've got 4, 4, 5, 3. It's a 0 ohm. Is that DFR touch? 4, 4, 5, 1. DFR touch reset. Okay, so they wouldn't inhibit the board from booting, but they will cause problems with the touch bar. So first thing I'm going to do is use some 80-20 on this, which I might just put it off to the side here. So the 80-20 will get rid of whatever water-soluble trash is hanging around there, and that gives us a better view of what we're dealing with. And I would say that bottom one, it's marginal. See, that's completely eaten away. Well, whatever it was that they corroded it with, it loves eating solder. Lead-free solder, that is. Yeah, the top one's going to be fine, but I will rework. I'm going to rework that pad on that, and I'll just replace that resistor. Let's see, that was 4481, which is a 4K7 201. Almost 100% sure I have one of those. I'll be disappointed in myself I don't have a 4K7 in my selection. Geez, Jim, that's rough. Actually, there was a shootout, very oddly here for Australia, not too far from here, and I think 2 people dead, 1 wounded, and it's suspected that it's over a property dispute. They're probably growing pot or something. No, I don't know. But yeah, outback, rural area, so who knows. Okay, 4K7 201. Oh wow, guess what? On the very top, it's like a magic trick. Magic. The very top of my stack was a 4K7 201. That doesn't happen very often. Jim, I wouldn't be surprised if that person was high on something like crack, meth or whatever. Seems to be the thing. When people get high, they react in ways that they probably normally wouldn't, or certainly not to that severity, but it's too late. They're on it, they've done it, and that's the end of it. It was 3 killed, was it booted? Okay, I wasn't exactly sure. I thought, oh, three killed, 1 wounded, and the shooter on the run still. Just going to check the other side of the board where that damage was, and yeah, we're looking okay. Alright, so we've got to change this ISL now. Now, the biggest pain in the backside with replacing this ISL is the fact that these caps, they love to tuck tantrums. They're just sort of like, how dare you bring the heat near us, we're going to pop and burst out and spread our noxious gas everywhere. So yeah, you have to shield them off so that they don't do that to you. I mean, I know there's plenty of people who really don't give two craps and they don't shield it off, or they don't do anything and they just let them pop. It's not a good thing to do because the gas really is not good for you. It's going to preheat it a little bit. Add a tiny dot of flux. A bit much. I didn't hear a pop myself. No, they all look good. I don't think that was a pop. It was just something else. Okay, so you can see that there's corrosion here on these sort of pads. Let's have a look at the board view and schematic and see what they were for. Like a SMC CBC on. I'm not sure what CBC on is. SMC charger interrupt low. To be advised gate Q1. Obviously I know it's not. I think this one here could be a problematic one. Yeah, so that's a gate drive that basically lets the power through. So if that was being messed with, then yeah, it makes sense that we weren't getting any power up. Jason, I missed your taunt. Oh, damn it, you were right. Ah. That's unfair, Jason. Unfair. I trusted you, man. I'm gonna have to start just ignoring everybody. Be like a raging fire behind me, and people are like, "Paul, the place is on fire," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard it all before." And then I'll blame you all for the fact that I died in a fire. Although I do have a fire extinguisher here, and I do have a fire alarm. Ah, damn it. Hey, Tradie Trev. By the way, that there, the tweezer sharpener, that's what I was talking about. It's actually not the same as what I was thinking. It's funny how your brain does that, but with a fish hook sharpener, what it is this groove here tends to be broader at one end and then tapers down to nothing at the other. This one, on the other hand, just looks like a constant groove. Not that it matters, the principle's the same, so yeah. Creature, I do not need more flux than the amount that I need. Especially for this damn chip. The number of times I've seen people have their CD3239s or 40s just blown clear away off the board because they had too much flux down. It's a very fine balance. That extra flux is there to prepare for the new one as opposed to needing it originally. Sheesh. Yeah, Tradie, I don't really do a lot of real fault finding. For the most part, it's just look for the junk on the board and fix up the junk. As opposed to actual fault finding, diagnosing rails and things like that. I don't do that stuff. Now I need more flux because that hasn't actually reflowed, but it wants to, but there's not enough. But the difference now is that it has got contact on the board, like there's actually like a little solder tacking going on. And so hopefully it'll reflow now. There we go. Good little chip. Booted Tech, yeah, the link Jim gave you, it's actually a little bit out of date, but it should give you a starting point. Creature, I keep those tweezers there just in case. Kind of like keeping your hand hovering over your holster in a uncertain situation, just in case. Hey there, Greg. Damn it, I gotta put it into the cooling system for a bit. Greg, I got my parcel deliveries today after a great deal of anguish and chasing and scream. Well, I didn't scream, but I wanted to scream lots of times. Got there in the end, though. Hey, Luke Davis, you got an iMac for repair, slot loading G3. I've never handled one of those, and I probably wouldn't want to. Yeah, Greg, I got lucky. I went to the local community group. Just fortunately in this town we have a group on Facebook with about 5,000 people on it. And I just said to him, I said, does anybody know who does the last leg of the delivery from Townsville to here for this particular carrier? And one person said to me, try these people. And sure enough, it was the group that I was needing to find. And as soon as I did that, I was able to chase down my parcel. And all I got was, oh, we're very sorry, we were busy the last couple of times. And I'm like, I don't care if you're busy. You know, your job is to deliver the damn parcel to me. And it's, yeah, anyway. Anyway, alright, let's see if we have any luck here. Oh, damn this. For whatever reason, this particular USB-C connector is, well, suckfully bad. Which is probably why it's on my workbench all the time with my name on it. Because it's just suckfully bad. Here we go. 5 volts. Still nothing, eh? That's a bit disconcerting. Okay, so we do have other damage somewhere. 5 volts, 50 milliamps. Same on the other ports. It does appear that way. It's entirely possible that one or more of the CD3215s have been damaged due to what happened there. It's also entirely possible the whole board is damaged because of, with that that protection MOSFET gate being driven, it might have been letting through power that it wasn't supposed to. Yeah, not good. Not good. Travis, honestly, I warned you. I warned you. Travis is now going, damn it, took it too far. I'm fairly sure I just put him in the timeout as opposed to actually removing him from the channel. We'll find out. If he comes back in a little while crying, we know that I kind of did the job right. If he never comes back, who knows? Travis, if you're still watching, I will try and reinstate you if I can remember if I actually removed you. See, now you're going to cause me more work. You have a horrible feeling that we have a bit of a cluster of damage. So much for this being a bread and butter job. What's the time? Jeez, it's almost midnight. It is getting close to pumpkin time, so I better try solve this quick. Okay, I gotta sneeze, sorry. Alright, well, I guess what I should do now is actually see if there's a short on PP bus. That would maybe have been a sensible thing to do earlier. Crocodile, yes, it may soon very well be time to bring out the infrared camera. No short on PP. If we are lucky, when we bring out the camera, we will get one of the CD3215s lighting up and it stays the same no matter which one we plug into. That's what we want. What's not going to be good is if they all light up, I mean each one lights up as we plug into it, because that just sucks. And I have a horrible feeling it's going to be that, because I'm not really seeing any difference in behavior as I switched around on the ports. I'm just going to check the various current sensing here. Oops. 0.08. That's actually a little... Oh wait, unless this side is the one I want. Okay, that's fine. Yep. And likewise here. Okay, what about that 4. Has this one got that 4.7 ohm resistor on it? Yeah, 7075. Oh wow, they actually put that on the opposite side now. It's like up in here somewhere, in there. What a terrible place to put that resistor. And it's about the right resistance. Alright. Let's have a look at GymCam then. So has Travis made it back yet? He hasn't. Oh well. I'm sure he'll get back eventually. He's probably trying to decide if he's upset or not, or whether he's laughing. He's trying to decide whether he should be laughing or crying. Okay, we seem to have a little bit of a signature building up just around here somewhere. Okay, we'll flip side it, which is usually the time in which the USB-C disconnects. Oh, sorry folks. There we go. Ah, F a duck. Okay, I saw that heat up for a split second then. It doesn't really matter about the light because this is all relative. Okay. Okay, let's try again, plug in. Yeah, it's like there's a little bit of heat building up just over here. just up at where the ISL is. I could be wrong. It could actually just be a reflection. So we'll tilt the board up and see if we get a change. Use that. Might have been a reflection. I mean, 5 volts, 40 milliamp, it's not a lot. It's about 200 milliwatts of heat. So it is detectable, but it takes a bit to find it sometimes. And what doesn't help is we've got the heat of the board, so I might have to put the insulator board down. Well, I've just got nothing but junk ones. For a moment I was thinking, oh, it might be in DFU mode, but then this is not a board that has DFU mode, so that is not going to be the case. There's no T2 on these. Well, I might actually screw those in, actually. Can you unban Travis? Flippin' hell. Did I ban him? I thought I unbanned him. Where did I put those 2 screws? Crap. Did I put those 2 screws into here? Oh, this is them here. Right, no, it's okay. Don't mind me. Different set of screws. The ones that you use to screw the USB-C into the chassis are not the same that you use to screw the USB-C into the board. Travis. I've got to go back and try and find Travis's Travis stamp there. Interesting. That's weird. It's not letting me unhide him yet. Now I've got to try and remember how to unban people. Where is it in YouTube that you can actually unban people? Community, that's it, yeah. Hidden users. Oh my god, there's hundreds upon hundreds of hidden users here. Let's see if I can find him. Oh, show 3,500 more. Yeah. I like how it doesn't give it to you in alphabetical order. It's not showing him on here. It may take several days to remove existing... Oh, I know, that's okay. Yep. Well, YouTube, you're not making this easy. Lack of search function indeed. Let's see. Well, I've added him back into the approved users. Let's see if he can get in there. Hey, Victor Neon. Good to see you tonight. Now, let us get back to what is actually important in life, and that is to try and fix this thing. Rather than dealing with Travis's self-generated issue. Okay, reflections are everywhere. Okay, there is a itty bitty spot just there. It's coming up as a possible hotspot. And it seems to be independent. Okay. So that might be something for us to work off. What do you do with a multimeter that won't zero anymore? Throw it in the bin, I guess. No, I'm sure, yeah, they all have their ability to be opened up, I'm sure, and then you can just go and find that little trim pot or something. It depends on the model. Some of them, yeah, you can program to recalibrate them. Some you can't. Yeah, I doubt this is even going to show up. I'm just going to... Yeah, nothing much is going to show there. Let's try a little more. So it's not really a short, it's just there's an itty bitty amount of power going through in this area, but that's about it. It's not actually a short. See it, Piper? Oh, wait. Piper's not going anywhere. It's just YouTube being silly. Miles, I've used the rosin things before and I'm not a fan myself. I even went out and bought the, what do you call it? The little dispensers and all sorts of stuff. I'm not a fan. I get frustrated with the, sorry, I'm just trying to work something out here. I get frustrated with the residue it leaves behind. Alright, time to measure some voltages then. Jason's doing... Okay, Jason. Thanks for popping in as always. I'll see you next time. What have we got? Yep, we got the right one. 3.3. Trick or treat. I don't know what that one's supposed to be actually. That's not showing anything on that side. Okay, we've got nothing going on either side of this cap here. So that might be something to look at. 5.19. Should be a 1.8. Yep. This should be a 1. One of these will be a 1.1. Okay, your 1.8. Ah. Point. What? I keep slipping. 1 volt. 1 volt. What? And that one. Okay, we're definitely missing a few rails there. What is that? That's U3200. Wait, no, what? Yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, yes. So 3v3 on you, which we do. 1v8 on you. Which we do. 1v8 on... Yeah, okay, yeah, I was looking for the wrong one. Yep, we got 1v8 on that. 1v1 down here. Oh God, I hate these caps that look like resistors. Okay, we'll go for that. Test pad. Okay, so we don't have 1v1. Now, that can be a BIOS issue. Not a BIOS issue, a Thunderbolt firmware. Firmware? Jesus, Paul. Speak. I might check U3100 as well. Speech impediment issues are getting me. Okay, 5 volts there. So these are just pre-baked diagnostic sequences that I've already put into Flexboard View. Just makes it easy to quickly rattle off, where things are. Well, we should get 1v8 on that. That doesn't seem right. Okay, yep, we got 1v8. Another 1v8. Yep. And we probably again don't have 1v1. Yeah, no 1v1. Okay, so we've either got a comms issue with the Thunderbolt ROM, or we've got a corrupt Thunderbolt. So this here is the ROM that they're supposed to be talking to. Now there's not a lot of corrosion on, but there is this up here. So maybe something up here is actually influencing it. Like for instance, it looks like we may have lost continuity between those 2 points there. That might not be anything, but it's worth checking out. (1v8) SODFR, I have no idea what that is. Okay, so we should be getting a 0.54 diode mode or something like that. We'll do a continuity check after I've done a diode mode on a couple of the corroded areas. I like to sort of work from the corroded sections. Okay, 0.52 is fine. Nothing there obviously because, well, that's just gone. 0.52, 0.52. So that, yeah, that's well within the realm. Now, I don't know with that. See, sometimes there's a veer under there, and sometimes there's not. If there's a veer, that'll explain why we've got issues. If there's not a veer, then it's a non-issue. And by the looks of it, there's no veer. Yeah, nothing there. Yeah, that really doesn't relate at all. That's okay. Alright. Let's check our diode modes on the ROM now. So what do we got? 555 or 666. It's eval. 6, 6, 6. They're all good. And the bottom ones there, pretty much 666 and 0.5. Yep, 6, 6, 6, well, 7 there, 0.5. So they're all reading good on that point. I don't think there's no wash. This board hasn't been out and washed at all. And the BGAs here, they're all underfilled. So unfortunately, as much as I wish I could blame that, it's not going to be the case. Well, as I said, creature, these ones here, they're underfilled, so not much chance of getting under that. For everything else, there's pick up the board and look at it on the angle. I wonder if maybe one of the connectors got damaged. No. It's looking pretty good there. It's not corrosion on that cap, it's just a bit of random flake of crap. Eric, it's so high, man. It's like, whoa, I'm really like tripping out on this awesomely high CRI, man. I'm actually not really sure. It's somewhere between 92 and 96 probably. But you're not actually seeing it at the moment because this is the microscope camera that you're looking at, and this microscope camera probably has something more like an 80 CRI LEDs on it. It's certainly not high-grade CRI on this stuff. That's another reason why I want to change my LED thing, because for the microscope, because the LEDs I have coming, they are a 90, I think it was a 94 CRI rating on them. So, and they're from, I think I got Omicron ones. I can't remember. But anyway, they're a reputable brand, whichever one I ended up getting. So I suspect that it should end up being better. Now, even though I'm only not getting 1.1 volts, and normally we suspect the Thunderbolt ROM, I want to check on the other side as well, because if we're not getting 1.1 on that, then my suspicions will change a bit. And I probably should actually, yeah, it's past midnight. So if we end up with no 1.1 on this side, then I'm probably going to have to park it for tonight. Simply because I have not been getting good sleep lately. On account of staying up late, and then just as I do get to sleep, there's always one of the damn little rat bags that decide to jump up onto the bed. Daddy, I want biscuits. And it's like, oh man, little rat bag bastard cats. And of course they won't let you sleep unless you yield. Well, that's a little bit severe. And the more you try to ignore them, of course, the more severe their attempt to reclaim their authority increases. Okay. So what is this? This is B400 that we're going to look at. My micro here is very good for not disturbing us. He's a very quiet, content little kitty. He will occasionally, if he gets his mouse, he'll start yowling in the middle of the night. It's like, yay, good on you, micro. Yep, good job, we're all awake now. But for the most part, no. Okay, so we are not plugged into UV400. Just shift to the other port. We should get 5 volts now. Yep, good job. And we want 3v3 on CB, whatever you are. Yep. 1v8. Oh, goody, a test point. I much prefer that. There. Yep. 1v8 on this dangerous little cap because yeah, okay. It's dangerous because you can easily short onto that there. And here we go, 1v1, again, test point. Okay, we do not have a 1v1 on here either, so that is not looking good. So there is a commonality causing both sides to not bring up 1v1. And so henceforth, I don't believe it's going to be communication between the Thunderbolt ROMs and the CD3215s. It's going to be something else that's inhibiting that. And I'm just going to have to dig around and do a bit of research and find out what could possibly be causing that. Because at this point, given that it's past midnight, my brain is fading off pretty fast. I'm more likely to end up doing damage to the board or create red herrings than I am to fix it. So there is one thing I just noticed there, a little white speck of crap there. Dead ROM on both sides, you say? Hello, look at that. How did I not see that before? What is that? That's like dead set in the middle almost. So no matter which way I count, I'm going to be counting over 10. That's going to hurt. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Maybe. Trackpad. Interesting go. Yes, I'm pretty sure of that. Cluster of 4. Cluster of 4 says 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So 3v3 S4 trackpad. And that's definitely not attached. But you may ask yourself why, why would that stop anything, to be honest? More crud between 3 and 4. Oh no, that's just a random fingernail. There we go. Okay, now we're swishing stuff under the chip. What I don't get here though is that according to the board view and schematic, they should be connected, but they're not bridged here. I'll check with the continuity mode. Yeah, Greg, I've seen that sort of thing happen actually quite frequently. The Super I/O chip getting crap on the 1 or 2 pins. Okay, yeah, they're connected. I still don't understand though why that would inhibit anything. Let's see, 0.33 is the diode mode of choice. And 0.33 it is. So while that may affect perhaps the trackpad, I can't see it affecting anything else. I would genuinely be very surprised. But let's give it a little bit of flux and solder, or just flux actually. Nah, put some solder on there too. Sorry. This is what I'm talking about. After midnight, your brain starts going funny. For me. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with assisted heat instead of direct. Let's get some heat on the board. Why are you not melting? There we go. It is too corroded. I gotta admit, I really do not want to have to replace this connector. It's just an awkward place, and there's a lot of secondary damage that you can do while you're replacing it. But if it's got to be done, it's got to be done. I'll just try and avoid that. At least the diode mode's right. Yeah, it does need more flux, but at the same time I should just get some sort of traction there. what I'm basically trying to do is you get your starter head of solder on there. It's a little bit hard with these particular soldering tips. It's kind of like this sort of scale is halfway between where it works for iPhones due to the surface tension magic, and then back to the reality of macro scale soldering. There we go. Needs more flux again. Would help if some of that flux actually went to the connector. Okay, look, that's a really shitty Hershey's Kiss job right now. See, the thing is, I don't want to put the full heat that I need to normally reflow onto that because it will deform this connector. Anyway, what's on the other side of that point there? Sweet F all. In no way is that an acceptable join, by the way. Miles, I don't want to use the chisel tip. It's just a bit too big for this time of the night. I'll slip and cause some damage that I don't want to have to do. I'd sooner attack it tomorrow. First, we just got to see if we've got a proof of concept here. See if we have any change of behaviour or whether it's just simply more of the same. Yeah, it would help if I could see where my thingy was. What's going on here? I think my thingy stopped. Someone wrote buggy software. Oh, you mean like, okay, yeah, I know the tips you're talking about. Well, anyway, for the record, we're doing exactly the same still, 30 milliamps or so. So no change on that. I'm actually just kind of surprised I didn't see that the first pass. That was a pretty big chunk of corrosion, really. There's some itty bits underneath the lifeboat connector, but nothing that's even relevant at this point. So that's where our corrosion was. Better not be the damned SMC. The SMC looks clean, except for that little black dot on the side, but that doesn't look like corrosion. That's, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like corrosion. That little connector there looks fine. It's always so sad when you think you've encountered, like you go, yeah, I found another piece of corrosion. You know, you sort of, oh, I've got to sneeze. Yeah, Miles, exactly. Yeah, as I was saying, you get excited. You think, yeah, I found a piece of corrosion. Surely that's going to fix it, even though I can't understand why it would. And then, of course, it doesn't. And you sink back down to the low lows once more. Contemplate taking out drinking yet again. I mean, the other possibility is we do have a dead CD3215 in a way that is causing all of them to, be inhibited. Because remember, there was that, what board was it? There was that board that I had not too long ago where it'd been sitting, that's just a piece of random fluff and junk under that chip. It's not corrosion. Yeah, there was that board that I had that had been sitting here for 2 years, and it wasn't until the third or fourth time that I finally changed the CD3215s that it finally came to life. And that was the same thing, really. It was just not firing up, and ended up being just a couple of the CD3215s were completely dead in a way that I wasn't able to detect them. Yeah, I think we're going to have to call it for the night. I'm getting tired, which means I'm going to start doing stupid things. Geez, at this rate, I might even do a YouTube video. So probably good time to close up, and then I'll tackle this again tomorrow morning. Who knows, maybe I'll see another piece of corrosion like I did just before. Alright, well, thanks everybody for stopping by, and yeah, let me know in the comments if you are watching this later, whether you think that the coloration and the general quality of the video is superior with these new lights, or whether you think it's just no different at all. So, I'm out of here. You take care. I'll see you next time.